Ladies and gentlemen, I have been heavily suggested to watch this video, probably due to the fact that I have an adverse take to what is going to be said. But don't worry, if there are disagreements, it's going to be friendly ones because, you know, you got to take stuff like this in a bit of a joking manner. We've got Gotcha Smack over here giving a pretty solid viewpoint on the 2.5 story. The real reason he hated Rover and rooted for Phrolova. And my take on the matter, I'll just say it right now, is pretty simple. If you hate Rover after the 2.5 quest and you like Phrolova, you're a simp. Hey, you're a simp. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you want to know how I know that you're a simp? And you want to know how I can prove that I am correct in this matter? If Phrolova was a dude, you would not be saying L Rover. If Phrolova was a man, you'd be saying W Rover. And you know that's a fact. You know that that is a fact. And so with that framing in mind, and that admission on your end, let's get on into this react and see what Mr. Smack has to say.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. With the latest release of the 2.5 story, there's been a lot of polarization occurring between the community. There's been a lot of discontent, a lot of argumentation, which I think is healthy, by the way, for the space. And
I think having like a bit of controversy over like plot points and story development is actually very good for a community, because you're talking about content, you're talking about like stuff that's actually in the game, and having disagreements about like story stuff specifically is one of the most healthy things you can actually have. Think about like predictions in like Game of Thrones that are still ongoing because the series hasn't ended, even though it was started as a book like 40 years ago. It's still going.
And I think it speaks volumes with regards to true good storytelling finally surfacing here in Wuthering Waves. As I like to tell people all the time, with real real stakes at hand, real sacrifice, people with real convictions clashing, comes a actual thought-provoking story that invites the community to have good conversation.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that there are a lot of unfortunate parts about some of the discussion being had, though, when it comes to 2.5. Some people actually do need a Paimon. Yeah, some people do need a Paimon 1000%, because even when going through my own playthrough of the 2.5 story quest, there were people saying like L Rover for reasons that were like explained like 20 minutes ago. And honestly, there needs to be like some degree of repetition for like some dummies if they're ever going to be able to fully comprehend the story. I think that if you're having like discussion or disagreement about stuff that's like literally factually proven, that's where the conversation gets a little bit annoying. And unfortunately, without Paimons there, that does end up happening a little bit. But that's just a sign of a more mature story. It's gonna happen, which is good.
I love this shit. It's awesome. Am I pissed that Phrolova's out? Yep, but
I told you in the first frame, 40 seconds. We know why. I already answered the question for why he hated Rover. He's a simp.
I wouldn't want it any other way, boys. Look at all this discussion that's happening. Look at all this debate that's occurring. It's good. It's good shit. It actually can grow a community as well and help people grow up. But with that said, I want to talk to you guys about my personal thoughts on why I think Rover's a hypocrite and a little bitch.
It's because he's a simp.
And I also want to talk to you about why I was rooting for Phrolova.
It's because he's a simp.
And what's interesting is I don't think anybody that's rooting for Phrolova, which there's a lot of us,
they're all simps,
are rooting for her because we think she's right.
You already know what I'm about to say. I'm just not even going to say it.
In fact, to the contrary, I think all of us know she's in the wrong. I think all of us know she's cooked in the head and she's lost her sanity and she's obsessed to a detriment.
Hey, just say it. Just say it. Just say it, Smack. You know what the truth is. Just say it.
We're rooting for her more so because we understand how she arrived at that boiling point.
And because we're simps.
And that's what I want to talk to you guys about for her perspective. And then I want to talk to you about why I'm at odds with fucking Rover, bro. Oh my God, he's so cringe right now. And it has a lot to do with him being pompous and a bit condescending and getting on a high horse he's not qualified to fucking get on based on his past decisions.
Okay, let's hear the reasoning.
So I want to get into that, but before we do, yes, there will be some spoilers.
Can we speed it up a little bit? Yeah, we can do 1.25. We can do 1.25. Yeah, that's good.
So if you've already watched 2.5, go ahead and click off this video and come back after you've watched it if you're still interested. Now, let's start with Rover. One of the biggest problems I had in the playthrough was a line he told to Phrolova, and it was a very spiteful, like piercing line. He said that she didn't understand the value of human life.
Yes, that was said by Rover to Phrolova right after, like, their final showdown, right before he stabs her, or really throws a sword right through her body. That's right before it.
I thought that was the most repulsive, insulting shit that he in particular could say to Phrolova. This motherfucker has been living in a Disney movie the entire Wuthering Waves playthrough. Little bro has experienced no L's, nothing but W's. He's had no sacrifice and no loss ever since he's wiped his memory. And so for somebody like that, who I would compare to some Beverly Hills spoiled brat with a gold spoon in his mouth, to go and tell somebody who has quite literally lost everything, this girl.
Well, Smack, I think you might have misunderstood the fact that, yes, Phrolova did lose everything. She was on a mission to get everything back, but in the process of her mission, she proceeded to join a terrorist organization that was just killing people for willy-nilly reasons. Yeah, which is where that whole you don't know the value of human life came from, where she was willing to trade thousands, if not millions of lives for 5 people in her dream world. So, like, if you're trading millions of lives for 10, that's kind of like, I feel like that's where that statement came from. That's just my take, though.
Girl lost her family. She lost her civilization from her town. A fucking meteor dropped and just obliterated everyone and only kept her alive. She then experienced countless amounts of failures trying to get these people back. But before that point, actually, you know what? I'm skipping ahead. Before we even get to that point, she then got used and abused by scientists in an effort to try and bring forth immortality. Not her, the scientist. She was just trying to figure out a way to bring back her family.
To be fair, though, she might have been used and or abused by the scientists, but I think she said in the story that she consensually went to that. And she could have, like, left at, like, any time. I assume from the way that she worded it, because she said that she decided to go there on her own. She just got, like, betrayed. So it wasn't like she got, like, kidnapped or any of that crazy shit.
She then got, like, shunned by people from the town who she was still trying to scientifically experience or test how to, like, I guess, bring about reincarnation, which I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now. She's an idiot. That's a fool's errand. It ain't happening. But she was doing it in an innocent way. No corrupt bullshit or any of that. She was just merely trying to search the fucking highest of heavens to figure out if there was a way to bring people back. And I want you guys to just take a second and bear with us here, which I'm sure a lot of you already know.
Yeah.
But losing your entire family and everyone surrounding your town in a single meteor blast, with you being the only one left, that's a level of trauma you could say 7 billion people on the planet will never experience. That's a 1 in 10 billion type of traumatic event, right? And so, of course, it did a lot of damage to her. But did she, like, go off the deep end immediately? Absolutely not. In fact, she kind of just went on living and started playing with her violin and doing shows to shows until she ran into the fucking Rover, who told her to start over. I just start over. You just do the same thing. We'll save that for the review. That's a whole nother thing. What I'm trying to tell you guys, though, is, like, Phrolova, as we all know, has had a very tragic past. And so a lot of people are rooting for her because they understand that she isn't evil.
I guess this is the thing, this is where my viewpoint of, if Phrolova was a male, y'all would be saying W Rover. Because, objectively, she did suffer something tragic, but then she proceeded to go off the literal deep end and join a terrorist organization. And that is actually the backstory of some of, like, the most hated villains ever. But the thing is, they're just dudes. Think about all of the villains in media that are trying to bring somebody back. You want to know somebody in a recent form of media that did the exact same thing? Y'all know Arcane? Y'all know who Singed is? Y'all remember Singed from Arcane? Y'all remember Auto Apocalypse from Honkai Impact 3rd? They're all people trying to bring back somebody they loved, and they do horrific things, and the player base thinks they're fucking crazy villains. But hey, they're just trying to bring somebody back, but they're also dudes. And I'm telling y'all, the second that it's a girl, right? The second that it is somebody that we can simp over, everyone's like, I'm here, madam. Your wish is my command. I'm here, reporting for duty. And that's why there are so many people defending Phrolova. Who cares if she was a terrorist? Who cares if she had an unhealthy obsession with making something happen that would have a crazy steep cost and cause a massive amount of issues?
She's my queen. She's my queen. Of course she's justified.
She's in pain.
And again, I am playing this up for fun purposes. I'm interested in hearing the opposing viewpoint.
She's in despair. She's lost a lot. And she just grew obsessed and unfortunately went off the deep end, right? But for a girl like that to, be who she is today, which is this fucking villain in Wuthering Waves, especially in a game where we never really get to see any real villains, her and Cristoforo are like the real fucking first villains we really got to see. Yeah, a lot of people were rooting for her, but we all know that she's wrong, absolutely. But here's the thing. Rover had low tier aura in how he handled that whole interaction. And I think this is why everybody is on his ass right now. Even the way he threw that line at her, he threw it in spite. You don't understand the value of human life.
Do you recall at the start of the quest, we saw some Phrolova members, which she's a part of, right? Phrolova's a part of Phrolova. We saw some Phrolova members that got like slightly corrupted by something. And then Phrolova was just like, hey, kill them. Ah, they're fucked, just kill them. Her own allies.
He said that because she clocked his little punk ass. She was like, this is funny. Remember, he was like, you've gone too far. And she's like, that's funny coming from somebody who has immortality, endless possibilities, has built up all types of insurmountable precious memories, and you wiped them all. You know what I'm saying? This is coming from you. That's when he got mad and said, you don't understand the value of human life. It's like, you know, like bro was losing aura points as the debate went on. And there was so much hypocrisy there. I already explained to you the human life hypocrisy. Now let's talk about the you've gone too far hypocrisy, as well as the memory wipe and all that stuff. Memory wipe, who's to say he didn't wipe, because we don't know, right? Who's to say he didn't wipe his memory because he went through a pain similar to hers and he couldn't bear the thought of dealing with it, and so he wiped his memory. That's a possibility, and if it did, makes him all the more the hypocrite, because this girl's been living with it for like hundreds of years.
True. Theory crafting. That could be a potential future.
So that's one possibility. There's only so many ways for you to wipe your memory too. We can sit here, concoct it all, but the point still stands. Wiping a memory is like, there's so many relationships and things that occurred that you're just throwing behind. Phrolova was just one of a potential of people, a plethora of people, possibly. You just threw all that shit behind. It's cowardice, and it's also hypocrisy. But
I feel like to make the claim that it's cowardice and hypocrisy would have to be a little bit of a retcon of what we've already confirmed about this memory wipe that Rover had. So the thing is that Rover literally wiped their memory because otherwise the world is going to end. Like, everybody dies if he doesn't do this. So that's literally the context of why Rover is resetting their memory. It's to prevent the end of the world. If that's not true, and just all of the Sentinels have been lying to us, if we've just been lied to by Sentinel, the Black Shore, Shorekeeper, all of that, the entire time, and that's actually not true, that Rover didn't wipe their memory to save the world, I'd get what's being said over here. But to kind of just be in like this whole completely ignoring that lore confirmed purpose for the purposes of this take, let's see what he says. Maybe he addresses that.
The you've gone too far line, that's one I want to get into. And what sucks is I know a lot of you guys watching this haven't been locked in and informing yourself on the story and the intricacies of
And I guess this is a part about the memory wipe that I think Smack maybe didn't address as much. He acts like Rover only wiped away bad memories. The way he worded that, right? Oh, it's just cowardice and hypocrisy. He acted like Rover didn't lose anything except the bad memories when he does a memory wipe. When literally, just think about 1.3 in Shorekeeper and the amount of like love that Shorekeeper has for Rover, and Rover wiped away all of that history. The history with Camellia, wiped that away as well. We can't be out here saying that he took like this easy way out, that he took no sacrifices at all, that he was a coward here, because there's a lot that was lost during these memory wipes.
Of some of the variables of the story that tie into the story's ever-progressing stage. Right now, the you've gone too far line for me, I think he gone too far with Shorekeeper. I thought he went too far with Cartia. The people y'all wanted saved was the worst fucking decisions he ever made. In fact, they were anything but greater good decisions. They were the complete polar opposite. If you guys understand how the Tethys system works, I'm about to like yap your ears off with this jargon for a bit. You'll probably appreciate it.
Wait, what was the part about, wait, Shorekeeper and Cartia? Wait, let me hear that one more time.
Of some of the variables of the story that tie into the story's ever-progressing stage. Right now, the you've gone too far line for me, I think he gone too far with Shorekeeper. I thought he went too far with Cartia.
He went too far to save them.
People y'all wanted saved was the worst fucking decisions he ever made. In fact, they were anything but greater good decisions. They were the complete polar opposite. If you guys understand how the Tethys system works, I'm about to like yap your ears off with this jargon for a bit. You'll probably appreciate it. The Tethys system is a anti-lament system in the Black Shores, and Shorekeeper was the core of this system's functionality. He was also like a failsafe. The thing is, this system is designed to store lament and study it. It is like operating off of destructive, I would say, essence or emotions, pain.
Yeah, it simulates events so that you better know how to counteract them in the future.
Pain and suffering and destruction and shit like that. It takes these, studies them, and then it's able to tell the humanity, essentially, like the good side, the fighting force, when lament is coming, even when it's life-threatening or extinction-threatening. This is a super-powered AI machine that was built by an ancient civilization, guys, to counteract the lament. And when you know, like when you think of ancient civilizations, you think of the highest form of intelligence, similar to like what people like to talk about in real life. Like the ancient civilizations are the ones who had the fucking most craziest technology. Them niggas was way ahead of us, bro. You know, motherfuckers built pyramids and shit, like the engineers and construction and whatever. These guys designed that Tethys system to counteract the lament in a very, very particular way. And clearly a lot of energy, effort, trial, and error went into designing the system. Rover came along, the past Rover, and helped tailor to how it functions. Here's the crazy thing about this. This dude, Rover, saved Shorekeeper because she was a waifu. We all fucking know it. They had a personal connection. So he saved her. But in saving her, he took the core of the Tethys system out and then told the Tethys system, reprogrammed it, and said, hey, instead of operating on destruction, fear, pain, misery, and all that shit, we're gonna take all that away. We're gonna take your core out too. And now you're gonna operate on harmony and like selling off into the rainbow, essentially. Like that's just like to sum it up. He pretty much changed the very functionality, the full optimization of protecting humanity against the fucking lament, battling the lament with the highest form of AI intelligence and safeguard.
Hey, have you ever thought about they did that because Tethys clearly was not working? Let's be real here, right? You think about all the shit that occurred, like the port city of Guizhou, which was literally the most recent destruction. Hey, let's be real here. Maybe it just wasn't working properly before. If all they have is a track record of shit getting blown up, I think that Tethys was actually not working correctly. That's why the fallacy of no return even popped up in the first place. Yeah, it was kind of bugging out. So, unfortunately think that, like, this might be... Maybe he's right and we're remembering it wrong. But I'm pretty sure Tethys was kind of fucking useless. And one of the reasons why Rover went in was because Shorekeeper was basically being held hostage by this malfunctioning system that wasn't working properly. I think that was like a cornerstone of 1.3 was it being trash. Not the update, Tethys.
He obliterated that by saving Shorekeeper. That is the biggest fucking form of hypocrisy that I have ever seen, because he absolutely remembers doing that, but he gonna point at old girl and like tell her, oh, you're wasting your time, you're doing all this stuff, I can't let you do this, I'm killing her for the greater good. Like, dog, you put humanity at a bigger risk than she has. That's the funny thing. And I dare.
I understand the point that he's trying to make, but the point that he's making only holds water if Tethys is 1,000,000% necessary for the survival of humanity. But in reality, I think Tethys was actually tweaking the fuck out, doing too much, and that's why Rover went in and basically reprogrammed it, shut it down. It also had a track record of monumental failures too, leading up to it. Just look at the port city.
Dare say, this is gonna come, if the writer is good, that is gonna come into play in a future update, and he's gonna fucking eat himself alive over it. Because what's been happening with good writing is Rover has been put in predicaments where he makes the choice that the audience, us, low-key wants him to do, but there's consequences for doing that later on. Cartia is another fucking consequence, and I feel like the story is low-key going in this direction. We're cooking early, but I just want to I want you guys to be aware of the hypocrisy of this fucking dude. He never chose the greater good before. He's only choosing it right now because he got fucking cooked in a debate, and he saw.
I think he also might be choosing the greater good in this scenario because Phrolova is literally a part of Fraxinus, right? I don't think it's because he got cooked in a debate or it's because she had like a mad diss for him. I feel like Smack's viewpoint over here is that Rover literally killed her because she cooked him to a crisp. When in reality, right, it's the only talks, right, that Rover has had with Phrolova is from her as the perspective of a complete villain. And yes, Rover and Phrolova also did go on a bit of a co-op adventure to go deal with a common enemy, but this is also the point. Phrolova was also intentionally rage baiting him to get killed by him. Yeah, there's a key line in the Wuthering Waves 2.5 quest where Phrolova says, all I need now is to get pierced by his blade, or all I need to do is meet his blade. Which is like her basically literally saying she's going to get herself killed by Rover. Like she's going to do something in her story to get, and the end result is her getting killed by Rover. All I need now is a sharpened sword. Yeah, she says something like that. And so her goal at the end of the day was to literally get fragged and then get sent to the land beyond. That is what Phrolova wanted.
And he's not, for the first time, he's being selfish again. Not greater good, he's just being selfish because he's salty about fucking Phrolova. But Cartia, saving her was another selfish act. If he would have killed her, even Cartia herself understood that her living meant being a risk to humanity because the Threnodian can always potentially corrupt her. She's a perfect vessel. The Threnodian has immortality. It doesn't go no fucking where. But the thing is, the Threnodian has to have a vessel, and not everybody can be its vessel.
I guess this might be the part that Smack is potentially missing too. Cartia is the Threnodian. She is the Threnodian's vessel. She's also the Sentinel's vessel. And so Cartia dying also means that there's no Sentinel Resonator either, which is like, you kind of want to have those. Like, a big part is that they're fused together in the lore, right? Sentinel and the Threnodian. And so, like, if Cartia were to die, that does kill the Threnodian Resonator, but it also kills the Sentinel one. And, like, Sentinel Resonators are kind of important for, like, a region's, like, balance. So it's kind of like, I think he is representing some of these issues as like very one-sided, where there's only that, like, there's no like benefit from saving these individuals and there are only like problems. But I think he's missing like that next layer when it comes to the other reasons for why these people are being saved. Because yes, the Threnodian part is there, but so is the Imperator Sentinel part.
In fact, they experimented with the Threnodian for like thousands of goddamn years, and they couldn't find a single vessel that can match with him. You know who can? Cartia. And him choosing to save her 2 different times, there's danger for this. For humanity's sake, by the way. Or we can just say Rinascita. Let's put it on a smaller scale. Rinascita's sake, it's a threat what he did. First, it's a threat because if he would have lost that battle against Fleur-de-Lis, because that was the other alternative, fight Fleur-de-Lis, right? If he would have lost that battle, well, then it was just swallowed all of Rinascita, everybody got killed. Versus just killing Cartia, who told him to do it, and just avoiding that entirely and sealing the Threnodian away for who knows how many years until they find another vessel. That could be like thousands of years. You chose the lesser good option, risking humanity because once again you had a hard on for fucking Fleur-de-Lis. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if he had left the situation alone, I'm pretty sure Imperator would have died as well. Like, for nothing. Which is like, not having a Sentinel in a region is pretty bad. Like, completely. Like, not having a Sentinel at all. Maybe I'm wrong here.
I'm saying, and here's the thing, you can sit here and deny that, Rover Copers, but that's the truth. He chose the more riskier option. And the only reason he won the battle is because Cartia sacrificed herself. That's all. He would have lost. Bro would have got his ass whipped by Fleur-de-Lis. Child, I'm getting heated up in here.
Unfortunately, what we learned in the lore is that, like, I'm pretty sure Fleur-de-Lis had already won against the Threnodian, and she was just like, I think she was just faking the, faking the fight with Rover. That's actually what we learned at the end of the 2.2 quest, is that by the time Rover faces Fleur-de-Lis, she had already beaten the Threnodian. Let me just double check that real fast, because I'm pretty sure there was like a second cutscene. It was like a done deal. It's like here.
But we shall not go down without a fight. The waves of resistance shall never cease. Mankind will not be oppressed by the Threnodian.
This is all before the fight with Rover.
Now, be free. Right, come hither! Make way for your destroyer.
Yeah, she did all of that before the fight with Rover, so she's kind of in control. I'm pretty sure she's just jobbing the whole time. It's clear that Fleur-de-Lis has, like, control of herself, and so I feel like the fight with Rover was her kind of just jobbing. That's my headcanon. I could be wrong on my interpretation.
I'm just saying, that was a risky move. And you know what? The move isn't done with, because we just learned in 2.5 that Cartia / Fleur-de-Lis consumes frequencies all around her subconsciously, which means if it's corrupt, she consumes that shit too, subconsciously, which means she can let the Threnodian back in, no problem. That's why she had to get sent off to the Black Shores for further testing to make sure everything's all right with her. But here's where the problem lies, boys. Oh, here's where the problem lies, boys. Oh, yeah. So you got Cartia, perfect vessel for the Threnodian, at the Black Shores, where your dumbass took the core out of the Tethys system, and it's no longer optimizing on the highest degree. Now it's relying on humans to anticipate when Lament is coming, and them humans ain't as smart as that super AI computer. So a crazy event's gonna happen. She gonna get corrupted, and the Tethys system not gonna be doing its job properly because your goofy ass wanted to be Captain Save-A-Ho, both 2 times, and then you're gonna face an even greater calamity. Chat, I cannot prove none of this, right?
This is a crazy theory, though. Hey, it sounds like it'd be cool.
I'm merely having a discussion to you, but I don't have to prove it. It doesn't even have to come true. What I'm telling you is that the consequences of this guy's actions and the choices he made can put humanity at an even greater risk than Phrolova has ever done. All because this nigga was being selfish and wanted to be Captain Save-A-Ho those 2 times, but didn't want to be Captain Save-A-Ho with Phrolova.
Okay. I think I understand the viewpoint that Smack has over here. And unfortunately, I feel like this is kind of like where it comes together, but also where it falls apart. Smack is critiquing Rover and calling Rover a hypocrite based on his predictions for what might happen. And the fact of the matter is, if the things that he's predicting are gonna happen don't actually happen, then we're like wrong. Right? It's kind of just like our basis for calling him a hypocrite and our basis for saying that like he's a coward doesn't actually exist. It's all predicated on a guess of what might happen in the story later. I see what's going on here. Okay.
Does that make sense? Now you see the hypocrisy here, because it's like you're getting on your
Well, most people would say that for someone to be considered a hypocrite, the action that makes them a hypocrite would have had to have happened. Imagine getting preemptively called a hypocrite for something that didn't occur yet. Like, being called a hypocrite in the present for something that hasn't happened yet. I feel like that's kind of crazy. I feel like that's a little crazy. Maybe I'm wrong.
high horse looking at her like she's all, you're gonna do all this stuff. It's not good. You're creating a hell, brother. She's just trying to bring back her family and shit. But you over here.
I mean, she killed like potentially hundreds of thousands of people in the process of bringing back her family. I feel like that's something to talk about, right? What about all their families? What about all those families? What about all those people she killed?
Putting the whole fucking world at risk for 2 women. For your harem.
Brother, again, this theory is based off of things that haven't happened yet. Bro, we're hating Rover for things that haven't happened yet. We're saying L Rover and we're rooting for Phrolova because of things that didn't happen yet. And that they just might not happen. Oh my God. Smack, we're sipping this hard, brother?
You see what I'm saying, guys? That's why I said he's a...
And again, this is all jokes, right? This is literally a discussion about lore and story. I think he's actually cooking here with the predictions. I'm merely of the viewpoint that it's a little bit wild to say why, like, to be all L Rover, to call them a hypocrite, call them a coward, right? For stuff that hasn't happened yet. For things that your theory crafting are going to occur. Not gonna lie, it's a little bit like, this is almost like, I'm here, my lady. Like, master, like, this is some white knight extraordinaire, brother. Holy.
A little bitch and a hypocrite. Now, at the end of the day, I think Rover will grow from this. And I think he's going to run into the same problem he's been running into by wiping his fucking memories. Because all these choices where he keeps trying to do this Disney movie shit and be this hero, I'm going to save everyone, leave no one behind. There eventually is going to be a consequence for this Disney hero naive fucking mentality that's going to cause even more despair for everyone, and lives are going to be lost based on the choices he's been making. If there's a good writer in the office, that's how it's going to come out. If there's a shit writer in the office, then we're never going to see these outcomes, because right now...
Okay, let's simmer down there, Smack. We can't just be like, writers don't do what I say is going to happen. It's going to be there's a shit writing team. Come on, man. That's a little bit much. Come on.
It doesn't make any sense. The Tethys system, once again, to end this off, functions. It pretty much fights lament by studying lament. This
it also won't work it properly in 1.3.
nigga straight up said, fuck studying lament, study flowers and happiness to counteract lament. Brother, what? And oh, take your core out too, so there's no failsafe plan now.
It's because it wasn't working, dude. That's really what it was. It's not like that shit was working before anyways.
All right, if shit hits the fan, well, you don't have a core anymore. It's like, bro, the lament's gonna come in, y'all are cooked. You know, so like, and then you got, once again, Cartia in the Black Shores, potentially gonna get corrupted. Oh, it's not looking good. It's not looking good, boys. Hypocrisy. That's what's gonna sum it up. So that's my thoughts on the whole thing. Holy yapping, boys. Fuck, I went off there. It's very frustrating because I saw a lot of people sucking off the Rover like this motherfucker has done no wrong, or like he deserves to have the moral high ground over Phrolova. And I'm just...
Well, I think he does, to be honest. Yeah, it's not like he's going around actively killing people. I am not going to take away their moral high ground based off of something that hasn't happened yet. Which is, unfortunately, or fortunately, what Gotcha Smack is doing over here. He is discrediting Rover, knocking him down a peg, based off of things that he's predicting will happen and haven't actually happened.
Just like, bro, no. And look, boys, let me make myself clear. The same chain of events could play out. He kills her, but he's much more empathetic and understanding of why she is the way she is and how she got there. If he was just like, Phrolova, listen, I can only imagine the pain you've went through, you know, losing all these people and shit. But the reality of the situation is this just isn't the way. And I don't even think I'm somebody who has the right to tell you this. But unfortunately, fate has it, I'm the one in this predicament with you, and I can't let you do this. You know, I'm sorry, it just can't happen. I have fucking empathy for you. I'm sad that this has happened to you, and I hate that I can't remember what happened in the past and the promise I broke.
I'm here, my lady. I'm here, lady. White Knight at your command. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it all comes down to, like,
He wasn't nice enough when he said it.
Is that not, again, all jokes. I feel like that's how it sort of comes off. He wasn't nice enough when he said it. He wasn't considering her feelings enough.
But his point still stands. You can't let this happen. He didn't have, if he would have came here like that, I don't think anybody would have hated him. They'd have been like, damn, I feel him, bro. You know what I'm saying? Also, he skipped a couple steps. Motherfucker went from A to D, right? He went from, all right, fuck it, I'm killing you, bitch. Yo, man, he had a couple more steps there before he goes straight to kill him.
Bruh, she on the record murdering thousands. She on the record potentially murdering millions. Hey, I know she smiled like 3 times during the quest. We don't gotta get like this, though.
It's like he handled it, honestly, in the most honestly logical way possible, because when shit hits the fan, you have to make quick and swift decisions. And he made a quick and swift decision, right? I'm not saying Rover's fucking wrong. I'm just saying he was a real bitch and dickhead in how
He's not wrong. He's a real bitch and dickhead about it. Hey,
he
that's fair.
handled
That's
that
a
whole
fair
shebang,
take, man.
bro. That's pretty much like wrapping up.
I think he was base. I think he was base as hell. He's like, yeah, you making this big of a deal just because of what, a guy you met a single time that made a loose ass promise with you didn't follow through. You did all this. You got caught up for this long. Bro, that ain't a me issue. That ain't a Rover issue. That's a Phrolova issue. One conversation with one guy and she can't let it go after who knows how many years. What, am I gonna blame the dude because she has a disorder? No, I ain't gonna blame Rover for that. That's her problem. Move on. Jesus Christ. Move on. Especially if you know his memory's wiped too. Move on. Good God. Staying that attached even after you know he doesn't remember anything is just weird behavior. Imagine if that was you. Imagine you were like, you said that, hey, I'll mow your lawn later, brother. Hey, don't worry, cousin. I'll mow your lawn later. Then you get hit by a car and get amnesia. Then your cousin walks up. I was waiting. 3 months went by, and I was still waiting for you to mow my lawn. I waited, but you never came. Like, get the fuck out of here, freak. That's why I'm saying it's never an L Rover.
Up my thoughts. Actually, you know what? I got a couple more things I want to talk about. Video ain't over yet. The promise ordeal, right? Everybody's like, she just met him for like 10 minutes in a play. Why is she so like hung up over him and stuff?
Yeah.
First, I agreed with y'all, but then
I agree with y'all.
after thinking about it, you got to understand, guys. Again, this is a girl who lost everything and had nobody else in the world. This was before she went on her fucking villain arc, guys, okay? She finally had met somebody where she had a connection with the level of trauma that she dealt with, brother. That 10 minutes to me, finally, like meeting somebody who can understand me on some capacity, that would be a lot more valuable to me as well. And then the guy,
okay, but we're not blaming Rover for that, right?
I fucking is charming, right? I'm like, maybe she's attracted to him. Obviously, he's the fucking Rizzler. She's like, damn, maybe I met somebody. Maybe I can get something going here. And then he says, he's gonna see me for my next play, bro. For somebody who's been in her type of trauma, I get it, man. I do. I fucking get it. I've never had that happen before, but I could understand. I could empathize. Most importantly, you see what
I understand that too, right? Clearly, she was very invested in that one chat that they had. But in the other vein, I am not going to put another person's baggage on another person, especially if they don't have no memory of it.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's my thoughts on that. I think there's even more stuff I can talk about between these two. But what I want you guys to know, most importantly, as all the passion coming out of me and conviction I'm sharing, none of the things I'm saying are the truth. Like,
and I'm glad that he said that, right? This is like all his own personal take. This is all his own headcanon, his prediction for what might occur. I know we did a lot of commentary on this, but I think it's awesome that Gotcha Smack decided to actually share some of his thoughts. And perhaps most importantly, right, say that he's not like fucking correct or right about this, and it's more of a discussion. And we just came in because, of course, right, a lot of this is like a refresher to us, especially hearing about the stuff in 1.3 and then also hearing about the stuff in 2.2. It's been a couple of months since I've had my eyes on those like plot lines and stuff like that. And so if I'm like asking questions or getting clarification, it's not because I'm trying to prove this guy wrong. It's just a matter of, hey, he might have missed some stuff as well, just like I'm probably not recollecting all of the details several months later. So don't view us having like a disagreement or me saying, oh, he might be wrong here as like, oh man, he's just
Saint's just trying to discredit Gotcha smack.
It's like, no, this is like a subject area that's just kind of a little bit fuzzy right now. So we're all playing a little bit of catch up.
Like, well, not the truth. They're not factual. They're not the gold standard. I'm just merely expressing my sentiment and my point of view on how I interpreted these things and how they played out.
Because you're a simp.
Why I feel the way I feel.
Because you're a simp.
But in no way or capacity am I sitting here telling this camera my way is the best fucking way. Fuck y'all and how y'all feel. Because that shit is incredibly cringe. And a lot of you guys do that shit. And it's just like, bro, grow the fuck up, man. Like, share your opinion. Share it firmly. But keep in mind, brother, we're just sharing our thoughts on a story, man.
Exactly. Good sort of like ending disclaimer.
It ain't that goddamn deep. All right, let's simmer down here, boys. All right. Peace, love, and happiness.
Peace, love, and simping. Yeah, awesome vid by Smack. This was like a fun discussion. Definitely came in with a bit more of like a unique viewpoint than I was expecting. I thought he was gonna get into like the whole like,
Oh, Phrolova's like, she deserves better. She deserves better treatment.
but I think like him taking a bit more like that hypocrite, coward sort of angle is very interesting. But like he said, right, all of what he's saying right now is like a theory, and unfortunately you can't actually go ahead and know what he's saying is like entirely true. It is an interesting take until more of the story actually starts playing out. I think that if Kuro does actually go with the form of story that he's saying, it could be really interesting. But on the flip side, right, Cartia is a very loved character, and so you know that she's probably gonna have like a good ending if it does actually occur. Maybe we'll see her in Phrolova's dream realm. But yeah, awesome vid overall. Hopefully we're able to provide some unique context and like a point of view as like somebody that is, you know, a little bit rough when it comes to the story, you know, recollection. But I think we did our best. Let me know what you all thought about this one. Peace.